Uh-oh. Busted. Live. We caught him. We caught Jan. It's out of the box, out of the closet.
Oh, that's so bad,
Oh,
bro. So
I'm so
bad.
ready. I'm so ready
So
for this. I'm so
ready to
ready for the stream.
ready.
wow.
Oh man, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another live stream, the Tuesday edition of our Tuesday Friday bi-weekly live streams, where we aim to cover the latest charts, let you know what's going on in the micro and the macro on mostly in the Web3 markets, but covered a little bit of the Web2 markets, traditional TradFi as well. Covering the most up-to-date M&A stuff, what's happening in the M&A and OTC world with crypto, and then look at some of the news stories of the week. Obviously, the word on everybody's lips today is FOMC. We got the rate cut decision coming up in just under 48 hours. By the time we see you guys back live here again on Friday, we will know what's going on, what Jay Powell and the Fed are thinking. Very likely to be a split decision. What are you thinking? 25 or 50 basis points, gents? What are we thinking here today?
I think 25 is guaranteed from what I'm hearing. Don't think they'll do 50, but if they do, I mean, I'm sure the market will be very excited for that.
Yeah,
To be honest, my prediction is that we got 0.25, but I don't know. I think we might get nothing.
Might get nothing. It's going the other way. Oh shit.
Yeah, but usually when we expect that the rate cuts will come, then somehow we always end up like nothing. So I'm kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, typically expect the unexpected when everybody's looking one way. Everybody's looking left, the markets are going to go right. But there's just so much. I mean, with the job markets are absolutely crushed. We talked all last week about 2 million jobs now have been erased from the last 3 years of Biden's administration. The largest revision on jobs in history, with 911,000 jobs getting pulled off the books just last week, or was that 10 days ago? We had a story we're going to cover today. Banks are posting, U.S. banks are posting almost 400 billion in unrealized losses right now. Like, if they doesn't cut rates here, you're not just looking at job issues. You're starting to look at getting back into bank solvency issues. Certainly his job's going to be solvent. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Never.
Look, when something is so obvious, it's usually when it's gonna go the opposite way, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, like I hope that there will be a rate cut. Obviously, everyone are predicting for it. Stocks are going up like no one like crazy before, but I would like to see the same happening now with crypto.
Yeah.
I think we got more sideways and down before we get the mean pumps yet.
Maybe. We'll see. Definitely the market's like rallying into the FOMC, so obviously they're pricing in a cut. So whether we get a 25 cut or we get 0 cut, I do think that it is going to be a sell event. Maybe we do continue higher, but I'm leaning on the fence. I'm more just like, the market's definitely been pretty uppy. Like, we've been on a straight up market since April. Eventually things do need to kind of cool down, and seasonally we are in that window where things are supposed to kind of calm down. I look at the Jan barometer, for example, right? Like, we're pretty much like right here, right at the peak. And, we're kind of forecasting this October 1st area as like kind of where to expect some kind of big dip, and then getting our kind of seasonal trough, and then coming back into that November, December, we get kind of that, Christmas rush back. And then for next year, who knows what's going to happen there. But I do feel like we are getting closer to some kind of pivot where, things do need to kind of retrace a little bit. And what better event than having FOMC being a catalyst for something like that? And like we talked about this too in the last couple of streams, where generally when you get the first rate cut, that usually does cause a bit of selling. And then it's not until, a few months later down the road where things starts coming back and, things are looking better. So I'm a little bit cautiously bull here. I did take off quite a bit of risk on the weekend on Sunday night and yesterday. And so now I'm just going to wait till we get to the other side of this event. So right now, if you look at the equities, as you can see, things are up. This gap up is mainly due to the contracts rolling over to the December contracts now. So like I know a lot of people are like, oh, it gapped up, it's screaming bullish, but it's like, no, it's actually just because like the contracts flipped over. So it's not like, there's a lot of buying pressure. But there is buying pressure. I mean, don't get me wrong, like we have these daily W's, right? We talked about these double bottoms here. We talked about these like nice long consolidation, and generally once you get these W's, we get an up market, right? So now you're starting to see it. These double bottoms are still in action. I don't see things slowing down just yet. Maybe we continue higher into the event, or we might see some de-risking today, just like how we saw in crypto. Looks like crypto kind of de-risked a bit ahead of the FOMC, much sooner than the equities market. But yeah, right now it's definitely looking very bullish still. So,
but
yeah,
don't
not
you
much
think
for me to do there.
the stocks has been going up only now for almost a
Since
year?
April. Yeah, since April.
Yeah, like I don't
Just
know.
like-
Yeah.
Like, look at that. Like that was the big sell-off April. And then
Man,
even
it
from
feels like-
like January, it like pumps, right? Like January
Yeah,
was
but
like down here.
It really feels like every time we dump a little bit, we go to a new all-time high.
Yeah, it's like the general consensus is like 30 to 50%, and then things just kind of go right back to it normally was. Because, if you look at it on like an actual like, in our entire generation, like it's always up. like besides the odd years back here, but like it's just straight out. And this is all due to like hyperinflation. Like we're constantly printing money. Your dollar is becoming, worthless. And so this is the reaction of what happens to that. So it's not like that the stock markets are super hot. Maybe it's more so maybe your dollar is becoming extremely worthless. But that's a different conversation for another time.
But yeah, it's becoming interesting to like see how we can interesting to see how we can actually give valuation to different companies. I think most of these companies that are on stock market are now trading at 45x their revenue.
Yeah, the PEs are pretty high. It's crazy. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we can look at like like tech stocks like Google, for example. Like it just keeps going up, man. Like no signs of slowing down, and it's just like, is that a parabolic chart or is that a normal chart? Like I don't know. Like very very like you don't get too many big dips like that, and that was like the COVID. And then if you understand weekly W's, you could have bought that double there and made some generational wealth there, some decent turns. But yeah, I mean everything is up right now.
But I mean, this must end, right? There must be coming to a period when there will be a big dip.
Yeah, some kind of disaster or financial crisis.
Yeah, or aliens visiting.
I think we have until 2032 based on the Benner cycle. So the Benner cycle is kind of a good guideline of like what to expect in certain years. So I think the next real big no-no event is 2035-ish, maybe 2032. So around 2032 to 2035. So we have a bit of a window here, honestly, like 5 to 6 more years before some big major disaster comes in. But only time will tell.
So in the past, you've looked at a lot of like setups for longs or for like entering, long positions. If we start to see the market, over the next month or two here, as the jam barometer chart shows, go down, what kind of setups are you looking for on the reverse, on shorts?
When things are coming down?
Yeah.
I'd be looking for longs, right? So like I'm like, okay, things are getting cheaper and cheaper. So I don't really short the market. I'm mostly like a long based trader.
Gotcha.
So for me, like I want to be hunting longs. And so when things are starting to break back down, it's great. But then it's just a matter of like waiting and like, you gotta wait for those structures, those setups, yada yada. Like even when we had that 2021 crash in COVID, it took some time like for the markets to kind of like settle. And so pretty much what I'm going to be looking is for those like weekly charts. Weekly W's help a lot in distinguishing like whether the trend has shifted or not. And then from there, just going on the dailies and doing the same shit we've been doing for, months here now. So yeah, I mean, right now, obviously things are like pretty overpriced. And it would be nice to get a really big correction, but I don't think we're going to get that for at least, some time here. In terms of like getting a temporary dip and retracement, hopefully, October. And then, maybe we have to kind of consistently follow this 4-year cycle. Maybe not. I mean, who knows? But I generally like these cycle studies, and I still do believe in the 4-year cycle. At least for Bitcoin, right? Because it does follow the halving event pretty closely. So that's kind of what I am just kind of monitoring. But yeah, I mean, we look at the charts. Not really much has changed since last week. We're rallying pretty well up into the weekend. So I noticed like Saturday or Sunday, which is like Saturday, I guess, in the US. But our Sunday night in Asia, things were starting to taper off and started seeing some weakness. And then even up until like yesterday, we were getting quite a bit of selling and a little bit of back and forth. As you can see, they left quite a bit of a wick there. And so we never really hit our short reload zone, which is where I was kind of expecting to see resistance start showing up. And the short reload zone is this red box. This is kind of the area of interest that I have for kind of, if you're looking for shorts or if you're looking for any kind of major resistance. So we never really did come up there. And we do have this 13 EMA right here, this orange line as support. So we still have some kind of structure to hold here. And maybe this thing can start like curving back up and printing new double bottoms here. And then we can get like a trend continuation higher. Probably build up into the FOMC type event, or we fail and things just kind of fucking fall right back down. But as of right now, I think we're just sideways consolidating in this range here. So if you look here, our range is pretty much this high and then this low here. So this is kind of like the little range that we're stuck in for now, I think. At least up into the FOMC event. And so really not much to do. I don't really see any signs of weakness in terms of momentum wise. There's no divs or anything. We still have room before we're overbought as well. So I think really your best bet is to just kind of monitor on like shorter time frame charts and then seeing whether or not, we're forming some kind of structure. Maybe we're doing some sideways consolidation. I do see some W's here right now on the 30 minutes. So, if the market can hold this structure and continue on higher, then obviously, we can kind of get back to the long side. But until then, just monitoring that. So really, just
the ETF flows have been very healthy for the past. I actually like BTC has been getting way more flows than before. Way more.
Yeah, BTC does look a bit stronger than Ethereum. Even on the daily charts, it looks like it was trying to rally a bit more comparatively to ETH, where ETH is just straight down right now. So at least with Bitcoin, we're sideways at the moment. ETH is starting to look a little bit heavy. So ETH, we came right up against the short reload zone. So kind of like the same red box that I was talking about on Bitcoin. So it's not very surprising that market failed against it and we just kind of fell off since. This was kind of like my tell sign, like, okay, maybe we should start, closing some of our positions here and de-risk a little bit into this event. And so now we're just kind of retesting this original breakout of this range that we had, that we were watching. This is kind of like that previous double bottom. So now we're just kind of waiting to see. If these moving averages can hold as support, that'd be great. And we can start, maybe start forming some kind of structure there, some kind of base. Otherwise, maybe we do have to actually come down and retest these levels down here. It would also kind of make sense to try to see if they can wash out some stops and stuff like that. I'm expecting quite a bit of volatility up until this FOMC. Which will probably go either up or down, either direction, and probably try to wash everyone's stops. But same thing, it does look a little bit weaker than Bitcoin. I don't have any trades here. I don't see anything that's pointing like bull or bear just yet. If anything, I think this is kind of like your new range, which is pretty much this bottom here, this high. And so now we just kind of have to gyrate and see. Definitely don't want to lose these lows. And, if we are bullish, then we are going to have to try to break out of these highs again. And so until then, we're just kind of sitting and waiting for these big macro events. Looking over at total crypto market cap. So I did talk about this last week, and I said, all right, once we're in the short reload zone, this is the area where things, typically kind of slow down. And so again, not surprising that things have kind of like topped out a little bit here. I also mentioned, once we did hit that 4 trillion market cap, I would be aggressively taking a bit more profits on those swing trades. So everything did just come in kind of timely. And, I am going to wait till we get the results from the FOMC event. And then if we're lucky, things just kind of continue on higher. If not, if things started breaking down, also a good opportunities to start hunting longs, get the discounted trades. I'm sure a lot of people did miss the bottom initially. So this could be the opportunity coming in for that seasonal trade where I was talking about in October. So, and then looking at the indexes, you can see things are kind of, falling off a little bit here. If the stablecoin dominance here starts perking up like this and putting in a W, then obviously all the alts and stuff are probably going to suffer. Bitcoin dominance is also trying to perk back up a little bit here as well, along with the stablecoin dominance. So ideally, we just kind of continue on creating these kind of wide Ws like we did back here. And until then, I'm probably just going to be a little bit hands off and let the market reset there. So, but yeah, you look at most of the alts, just kind of sideways. Like we had a very good run, nice little quick, swing trades. A lot of them did hit. And then now things are just kind of coming right back into that original breakout level. Some might be kind of getting washed, but for the most part, things are just coming back into that original breakout level. Retesting breakouts is quite normal. And so now the market is just trying to decide like, okay, is this it? Do we want to rally, or is this like the actual bottom? So yeah. In terms of trades, I don't like I said, I don't really have any trades. Most of the trades I've already hit throughout the weekend. Pretty much closed all of these perps trade as we kind of got into closer to these levels. Pretty much got doubles on most of them. Some, maybe not so much, but a lot of them did hit their 2-to-1s. And so now I'm just kind of waiting again, waiting for new setups, and then also waiting for the results. So, yeah. But, there are still some names that are trying to break out, as you can see. But for the most part, I'm just kind of waiting here.
There are some setups for sure, but again, like you said, like we're waiting for a big dump.
Yeah, waiting for the FOMC for sure. Because like it's gonna be volatile, and it can go in either direction at this point. And most of my setups have already played out, and so I'm just waiting.
If we do get that dump, that seasonal, that kind of end of cycle opportunity, end of cycle low that you mentioned there, I think something for investors, especially crypto investors, to keep in mind that a lot of us are looking forward to is that while time wise we might be much closer to the end of the cycle than we are the beginning, the end of that cycle is usually the most volatile, where you get the insane pumps in a very short amount of time. So while time wise, sure, alts, especially alts, Bitcoin, we'll see. I don't think we're going to get another 10x from 15K to 150. We're not going to jump to 1 million the rest of the cycle, but on some of the alts, we still have that potential, right? We've seen some of the blue chips do maybe a 5x. Like at the end of the cycle here is where they can get that additional 5, 10, 20x for certainly maybe not the blue chips, but some of your mid-level alts still have a lot of potential to run from if they're in the low tens of millions up into the high 100 billions or even or high 100 millions or even billions. So that's, I think, what all of us have been waiting for this cycle. We haven't had that real alt season. Are we going to get that at the end of the cycle here? Well, now or never, I guess.
Fingers crossed. I mean, I hope so. I mean, like I said, like I am still quite long on a lot of my spot bags and just in general. But it would be nice to be able to, get more stuff on sale. And then, yeah. But I'm not in a rush to buy stuff here. Like, I feel like things are kind of tapering off slightly here. But that's normal as well. Even in an up market, you get dips on the way. So
a bit of a deviation from kind of like, more trading talk, but within the same realm there.
Oh, did we lose you?
I think we did.
Oh, shoot. I thought it was me for a second.
Now he can't complain that I have shitty internet.
Yeah, that's so weird. That's he must have hit the exit button or something. But yeah, looking at ETH Bitcoin chart here, this is probably why Bitcoin looks a bit better than ETH right now. As you can see, like, we were getting this like topping pattern here, this like double top. And so what I noticed is that this pullback that we just saw, these little quick swing trades that I was talking about, it's just like a retest of like this original failure. And so now we're kind of breaking back down again. And like, we have these big bearish divergences. We are quite overbought back here. And so things do need to kind of just like reset here for a moment, right? And now, as you can see, we attempted to try to come back up. And now we're kind of getting the failure again. So, we try to come up here. We try to come back. We retested these kind of like original highs. Couldn't break through. So now we're coming back down to retest this original kind of double top structure. And like, if we do have to break down here, like we are crossing these moving averages as well. So it does show me that like Bitcoin strength is probably going to be a bit better than the ETH itself here. So if ETH is to survive and do much better, then, ideally we start getting these kind of W's. But I have a feeling that they're going to watch these lows. And then as we watch these lows, this bullish divergence will get closer and closer to confirming. And then once the bull div comes in and we get some oversold conditions as well, we'll probably see a bit of a bounce. So I do expect to see kind of a bit of a wash and then a bit of a turn on the other side there. But in terms of like charting wise, like it's looking pretty heavy there in my opinion. And so that's why when you look at ETH and Bitcoin, Ethereum looks a little bit worse than Bitcoin does. Which obviously isn't good for alts. But yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens.
I'm still on the same opinion as Nathan that there will be a very hard pullback and then a very, very much going up. Like first a very big pull up and then we go like a fucking skyrocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I do think we are missing that like one last big like FU face rip like disbelief kind of
That's
rally.
gonna happen in December. I'm pretty sure. November and December. That's
Yeah,
when.
I think December to January probably just because like you get the Christmas rush and then you get the New Year's kind of like woo. Um, so I do think that's going to be our seasonal window there.
But I think like it's never going to be easy, right? Like we know, no matter how many times we've been this market, they're going to throw something new at you to try and shake you out of your beliefs. But I think if I had to draw a picture of the chart, what it looks like, exactly what you guys said there. We get this pullback. November, December look great into early January, somewhere around that time period, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later. And then we get a double top looking kind of scenario. And everybody's like, market's over. We get a 30, 40% pullback. Everybody's selling. All right, bear market, bear market, bear market. And then, here comes the next Fed print. QE, we're going to print all through 2026, and market turns around and goes back to new all-time highs.
That would be nice.
That's kind of that's my not so secret theory.
I'm kind of afraid if that will happen in 2026, like this big bear market that you're talking about. I'm not prepared for it at all.
I don't think anybody's prepared for it, to be honest. Like, if you look at Benner cycle, like 2026 is like it's like they consider the good year, where like things are very like euphoric, very frothy. Like that's like generally when you want to be taking profits, right?
Oh yeah.
So that means like like there is like a chance for like this like crazy face rip rally, but I wouldn't bet on like this being sustained. And like if you don't take profits as things blow up, like you're begging to round trip your portfolio again. And like how many cycles have like a lot of us been through where we don't take enough profits as things are parabolically flying, right? Like nothing just goes up forever. Like things always retrace. Bitcoin is known for retracing every 4 years. Like, it's got that halvening built in. It's never deviated outside of that before. So I don't see why it would do it again or deviate this time. I feel like it would just kind of follow the same rhythm.
But yeah, I do agree. I think also, I keep saying this, 5 years, invest in BTC, you can't lose. Yeah. But obviously, like the thing is, again, like we are going to be printing a lot of money. So when is that money printing going to stop? Right?
No idea.
Yeah. What's the outcome here? Like what are we going to be seeing? Are we going to be seeing US dollar just evaporating or?
Well, it'll depend on, I guess, like what Powell says too. So like even if we get the rate cut, like we're still gonna have to listen in to see what Powell has to say, like whether he's forecasting more rate cuts or this is just like a one-time thing, or you gotta listen to the rhetoric of like where are we right now in terms of like our economy.
Yeah, Powell is our mage. We need to listen to the mage.
He's gonna come out and give us a nothing burger where he bookends every statement he makes and essentially covers his ass no matter what happens.
Yeah. Or what we can do is just copy Nancy Pelosi. I think that's probably the easiest way to make money, guys. Just like copy trade Nancy Pelosi.
Copy trade Nancy Pelosi.
You're guaranteed to make some money there. No. But yeah, that's all the charts I have for today, guys.
Lovely. Well, the question I was getting at before Jan hacked my computer and shut my internet off there a minute ago was typically we see some trends, sector type trends emerging. What trends are you guys hottest on through the end of the cycle here? I know, Andrew, I mean, you're mostly a trader. You don't really care as much about trends. You're just trying to look for setups and charts. But, if you were going to take a stab at which trends are going to be hot, maybe pre-sales come back, whatever it happens to be, what sectors do you see running the most yet this year?
Coins. Base just, I think they just announced they're going to be looking into doing a token. So I think anything in the Base ecosystem is probably going to be hot. Plus, it's Coinbase. They're a publicly listed company. I feel like that's kind of a good bet there, in my opinion. So for me, I would bet on base coin stuff. So Aerodrome is kind of like one of those names that I really like. So I'm kind of like just playing around with that. And I also have like Circle stocks as well. So
did you see OpenX? OpenX is on base. They just exploded. They hit like $150 million market cap or something.
Yeah. So yeah, anything to do with base is probably doing decent right now.
So,
which is wild because a month ago they were just absolutely sucking hind tit. They're like the money coming out of that ecosystem was. I remember if you saw the chart, we saw Ethereum, like this huge big green bar on this side, and then going to the other way in red was base. And now that's not that Ethereum slowed down, but base has got come back to life here in the last month.
yeah, my bet is robotics. So obviously there are some prominent investors that are involved. Andrew Kang has been one of them that has been pushing like, hey, do you guys know what's happening in robotics? But actually, like the robotics sector in crypto has been just growing and growing and growing. And actually, let me share my screen quickly if I can. Here we go. Like personally, I'm invested in Aoki. I think the founder is a genius. And what I see happening in robotics is basically what happened with AI during last cycle. So I think it's going to be first AI that came in, and now we're looking at infrastructure products like robotics that are going to be like doing a lot of different stuff. And obviously, like some of the top players here are making already revenue, which is for me like one of the peak things to look at when I look at coins. Like, are they making revenue? It was the same with Pump.Fun. Like, okay, obviously they had $1 billion that were raised, but they were making money. So taking that bet was kind of, the risk reward was there. But yeah, robotics for me is going to be something that I'm going to be focusing on and looking at it. Like, the fact is, there's going to be less jobless people, or there's going to be more and more jobless people. And robotics, basically, you can work with robotics 24/7. Like, how can you compete against that?
I mean, we already have it to a great extent. I mean, most manufacturing is robotics or has robotics tied into it in some extent already. And as AI comes in, and you combine AI and robotics, robotics get more advanced.
Just wait 2 years, and we will have robotics in the streets, or robots in the streets doing stuff. We have automatic cars already. That's already here.
We got food delivery robots running all over the U.S. getting vandalized like crazy.
Until they get advanced and they fight you.
But yeah, that's at least what I'm betting on and looking at.
Nice. Yeah, I think AI's got some juice in it yet. AI is just involved in literally every aspect of, whether it's DeFi, robotics, whatever. It's going to be AI is involved in some ways. I think AI still got a lot of juice in it for this cycle and next cycle. RWA is a big contender, but I think RWA is kind of going to be the gaming of last cycle, where it gets a whole bunch of hype, but we don't have any actual traction. So I think there'll be some short-lived, very exciting gains in RWA, but at the end of the day, I think it kind of dies off as it's still too early. We don't have the stock market. Sure, they're getting ready to tokenize, stocks. They're getting ready to tokenize, starting to make some DATs. We're starting to see stablecoin comes live, but we're still, a minimum year or two away from those being active, seeing the benefits of the transaction volume, et cetera. I don't think we have 2 years left in the cycle. So I could definitely see very similar to gaming, where we get a shitload of hype and money coming in and pump out of RWA plays. But the actual real traction, the real adoption of RWA, I think comes next cycle.
Could be. I agree. I kind of agree, but then I'm looking at gold and how much it's skyrocketing, and then I'm looking at all these like real assets like palladium, like silver, and so forth. Once we get those on chain, it's going to be very interesting. But
I agree. I just think it's going to be that's not going to happen in the next 6 months, at least not. Mass options.
I agree.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean people aren't going to speculate the shit out of it, and we're not going to see some projects that are, whatever RWA play come out and just blow up to $1 billion market cap. for no reason with no real revenue or users. That never happens in this industry ever.
Yeah.
We never see any of that happening.
No, never.
All right, well, let's jump into some. Oh, actually, before we jump into some news stories, we wanted to cover. We had some, I believe, some what was it, OTC, some pipe deals or something we wanted to look at.
Yeah, so we got some secondary deals here, OTC deals. What do we send here for you? I believe we got two deals right now. We got Yuga Labs as well as OpenSea available. We are looking for direct buyers for these, and the minimum size for these kind of orders are a little bit larger than most of the retail. But if you are interested, you can find the deal flow channel on our Telegram, and then the contact info is there as well. So if there is any interest, if you do want to take a look, make sure you're subscribed to our Telegram channel, and then you'll have access to all the deals.
Yeah, if you need those links, if you're on YouTube, it is right in the description there. You'll be able to find our website, the Telegram Deal Flow channel, all the relevant links there. If you're watching right now live on X, go to our homepage, just click on our icon there. Right in our description, our bio there, it's got our links to all the relevant, like I said, our marketplace, the Deal Flow channel. And if you're watching on Telegram, well, you're already there. So hopefully you don't need any links. But thank you. We've got all kinds of great OTC and secondary deals. As you can imagine, a lot of those are a lot more private in nature, so not something we can broadcast live on air here. But definitely, if that's a market you are interested in, hit up Mr. Andrew there, our head of OTC. He will show you all our top deals here. All righty. Well, let's take a look. We got all kinds of stories going on. Some of the stuff we've already talked a bit about. Brian Armstrong announcing that they are exploring a Base network token. Coinbase, obviously one of the biggest platforms in Web3 between the Coinbase exchange and the Base network there, but never launched a native token. The reason for this: accelerating decentralization makes sense, and expanding the creator and developer growth in the ecosystem. That's the real key there. They're trying and sugarcoat it by saying, it's about the tech, it's about decentralization. Now, what this is about bringing traction and incentivizing people to come and build on their network. Base was struggling a bit this summer. They're falling behind some of these other networks. But Brian Armstrong is a pretty smart dude. I think he's just waiting for the right time in the market to come out and start injecting some capital back into the Base ecosystem, and making obviously announcements like this, generate that hype, have that moment in the sun, 15 minutes of fame to really juice the Base network and Coinbase back up here. We've seen the success that these creator and developer programs can bring. I mean, look at Hyperliquid. Look at pick a network. Now, as long as they don't do like just some random shitty airdrop, I think this could be very, very good for Base.
Yeah, so my take here is pretty simple. Like, I'm looking at Coin, so the Coinbase equity stock, so Coin. What is going to happen to Coin? Like, you have already basically, like, from an equity investor perspective, this is kind of bad. This is kind of bearish, because now most of that Base token, I don't know, revenue and so forth, where is that going to go? Like, how are Coin investors are going to benefit from this?
Well, it just goes back that they're getting to generate more revenue, I guess, and then the revenue gets kicked back to them, I guess, or something. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, isn't Google creating a layer one in a token too? Like,
no. But like, my question is, okay, I'm an equity holder. I hold Coin. Will I get the airdrop?
No, I don't think Coin will. Like, people that are playing in the Base.
Why is that not? Why is that not? Like, if I go to any other like tier 1 project, they have a safe plus a token variant. And at this moment, like, if I would be an investor, I would be very pissed off. But that's just me. That's how I look at it.
No, 100%. I understand that. That's a lot of times when you're investing in pre-sales, that's kind of the argument and then the discussion you have to have is like, okay, this is purely a token. Do the revenue streams, is the actual business feed into that token? If not, then all the benefits for the equity holders. And right, so you have to find that balance between the token and the equity. It's always difficult. I think I totally understand where you're coming from there. And if I was holding a bunch of coin, I'd probably be asking these questions as well. But with coin, they can't, they obviously can't incentivize, creators and developers to come build on their ecosystem as easily as they can with a token. And I think at the end of the day, the equity holders hopefully can be convinced. I think this is probably Brian Armstrong thinking that, hey, this is going to overall, 5x the ecosystem, which means equity holders are just going to naturally benefit by being a larger player in the overall crypto marketplace, a more predominant L1, L2, bringing more revenue in, not only for the base network, but also for the exchange. It's a win-win across the board. And how we're going to leverage the token, we simply can't do with the equity kind of a thing. So I think that's kind of maybe the discussion that's going on there. But yeah, 100%. That's if you're an equity holder, you're going, what the heck? That's a shitload of money flowing out of the ecosystem in other people's hands and not into the equity holders.
Yeah, but Base and Coinbase, they have distribution already, right? They have incentives to build on Base. Do you really need a token? Okay, fine. I get your perspective though. I absolutely get it. We definitely need more layer 1 tokens. That's exactly what we need in this ecosystem.
I think they already had this plan a long time ago, man.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody was speculating, there's going to be a Base token when it first came out.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time. So we better get a fucking fat airdrop. That's all I'm saying.
I think, hopefully, I don't think they'll do a traditional airdrop. The traditional airdrops have been absolutely worthless. When you look back at, Hyperliquid, when I say traditional airdrop, Hyperliquid was a bit different. They had the point system and all that stuff. That makes more sense. When you're doing just this random go do on-chain activity and maybe we'll reward you with some stuff, that's failed time and time and time again. The Arbitrum, pick any of these L1s that have done that in the last cycle, and everyone just immediately sells it. It brings no actual long-term users and transaction volume to the platform. And I think they've been huge net negatives for those L1s and L2s that have done it. Whereas the Hyperliquid method, they did a massive airdrop and they're still bringing in billions of dollars. I saw a chart the other day. They're per employee. Each employee brings in over I think it's $102 million per employee.
Yeah, they have 11 employees. Yes.
Yeah. It's an insane amount of money. They, obviously that model not only rewarded people for using the platform, but then they stick around, right? They're still there. They're still trading. They're still generating revenue. So I don't know. We'll see. But exciting stuff ahead for Base. I definitely like your theory that
at least they have a user base already. It's not like a dead layer 1.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing some projects blow up there in the last couple of months here. This is the newest one, OpenX AI. I'm assuming it launched recently. The only history they have is back a day ago, but immediately jumping to 200 million market cap, sitting at about 150 market cap right now. No idea what these guys do. Their website says the open and borderless AI network. That could mean fucking anything, literally. So who knows what they actually do? Yeah. So, but anyways, good for them. It's great to see launches doing well like this, especially on networks that haven't been thriving as of late. But lovely little chart kind of validating what we were talking about in the first half of the live stream here today. And also bringing up again the question that Jan keeps hammering at when everybody's expecting one thing to happen. Well, that rarely happens. A lot of people talking, this is Ted Pillows out there, exactly what we just talked about. Fed cut rates in 2 days. Scenario 1, Bitcoin dumps to 104 and then recovers. Scenario 2, Bitcoin dumps to 92 and then recovers. In both cases, predicting a relatively short but dramatic dip with a bounce and then resurgence to new all-time highs. Love the validation of what we're hoping for, but again, it gets more scary. The more people you see talking about the exact same thing happening makes me worry that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but why would we dump then? If we get a rate cut, that would signal very bullish the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, eventually.
Well, Yeah, I mean, as mentioned last Friday, traditionally when they pivot, I think every single time in the last whatever, my lifetime, basically, you get the pivot the first month. There's almost, I mean, every single time a big correction, and then you fast forward 1 year and the markets are significantly higher from where they were a year ago when the rate cut started. But that first 1 to 3 month period is almost always a reset, a dip there. Our phony baloney fiat system is wild. I couldn't tell you exactly why that happens, but that's what has historically happened. So I don't know.
I like this because it also fits the jam barometer chart as well. So kind of aligns with it.
Honestly, I love that yellow scenario though. I would love to see a dip down to 92, watch people absolutely just shit their pants and get some amazing buys on stuff.
Yeah,
people would be freaking.
That'd be a very juicy scenario. Because I'm pretty sure alts will make all-time lows if that happens.
Alts would be absolutely just blood in the streets. Yeah.
Getting Bitcoin under 100K is pretty nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, ETH would be what? Under 3K?
Yeah, somewhere maybe.
Yeah. Some tasty dips. Tasty dips. We didn't want to jump to that just yet here. Let's see. Stablecoin supply continues to explode. And to put it in perspective, like we see, all this stablecoin talk all the time. Like, well, what does it actually equate to? We are now over double the peak of stablecoins at the high, the blow off top of the 2021 cycle. That is impressive. To see the relative malaise of the rest of the market outside, we've had some Bitcoin pumps. Stablecoins over double what it was at the peak of last bull run. And I think it's just a little taste of what's to come.
Andrew's reaction.
But it's just funny. It's like, okay, like where are all these stablecoins like coming from? Are they actually backed by like real dollars? Did they ever figure out that USDT shit? I don't think so.
We don't talk about that, Andrew. We don't talk about the systemic market-wide liquidation.
And why is that money not going into the market? I want bigger charts.
USDT, they've been audited, but they're not audited, but they are, but they're not, but they are. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Trust me, that risk assets will go up. Don't worry.
Yeah. Talking a little bit more on what we were, rate cuts are just one part of the equation. Quantitative easing is the second half of that. Fed's still currently shrinking its balance sheet. When they start printing the money and buying the assets, that's where we see the real fun, the real juicy fun stuff begins at that point. What are your guys' predictions? When do you think we see the shift, not only in the Fed rate pivot, but into full-on quantitative easing and money printing?
No idea. I mean, until the stock market crashes, I don't see them ever doing it. Like, dude, that doesn't make sense. Why would they print money and all this stuff when like the stock market's at all-time highs? That makes no sense.
Because they want it to go higher so they can get more votes.
No,
next November
we need unemployment to go down. That's the real reason.
Next November is midterms.
Yeah, they're not gonna let I don't think Joe's gonna let the market crash for midterms. That's for sure.
That's why.
Well, I told you guys before, but I expect coffee to cost €20 or $20. Starbucks will be like $15 or something.
$5 an egg. Yeah, let's get it, please.
Well, if you just would have back in 2010 gone and gotten 5 free Bitcoins every couple days from this faucet, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. 2010 free Bitcoins website would give away 5 Bitcoin per visitor for free. 5 Bitcoins now worth almost $600,000 today. Let's go.
Yeah. You would have had to hold it for 15 years though.
That is true.
I don't know anybody here that would be able to hold it for 15 straight years.
I can see Nathan holding 15 years.
No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have.
Don't worry. I believe in you.
I think if I would have actually known what Bitcoin was back then and actually understood it, I definitely could have been a believer and gone in. But, if I would have just stumbled across this and someone was like, here's free, internet money, I wouldn't have held it. No, I would if I didn't know what it was. But, if I'd actually, if I'd have been aware of it and educated on it, I'd have found a way to stack a few away.
Yeah.
Damn, can't believe they're just giving up Bitcoin like that.
Well, here's a little bullish news that might rain on the bear parades here. I don't know, might bust through that jam barometer theory for 2026. From the Kobayashi letter, since 1975, there's only been 6 times when the S&P has rose above 30% or more in just 5 months. 2025 is one of those times. Now, in 100% of those cases where the S&P has shot up more than 30% in 5 months, it has ended higher in the following 6 and 12 months, every single time, 100% of the time. In fact, during such occurrences, S&P has rallied on an average of 18.1% in the following 12 months. On top of all of it, the Fed is about to begin cutting rates directly into the AI revolution. This week begins a new era for markets. I don't know. Does that seem a little bit too bullish? A little bit too bull-pilled there?
I don't know.
I know Jan likes these guys. I see him retweeting and sending the Kobayashi letters around a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I'm just thinking what will happen when we print so much money, right? That must be going on at some point. Like, I've been talking about this for like, I don't know, 2-3 years with SP 500 just going all-time high all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I mean, I used to be bearish, but nowadays I'm like, all right, like, we are never going to have a bearish section again. The politicians won't let us have it.
Yeah, there's so many factors outside of like the actual economic and TA factor type stuff. The free market's very much manipulated at this point, and there's all the political influence of it, of saving face and trying to keep markets good so you can get votes, and all that kind of stuff typically tends to overrule the actual flow of where the market should go. But yes, at some point you can only push things so far. You can only kick this can down the road so far. Your national debt can only go so high. You can only print so many dollars before the system collapses on itself. And is that in 5 years, in 2 years, in 20 years? I don't know, but it is definitely coming at some point, and you better hope you have something, whether that's gold or a farm to feed yourself or Bitcoin or whatever, because shit's going to get real weird real quick.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. But like, yeah, remember 5 years ago when you felt $1 million was a lot of money. And nowadays, if you go to Reddit and you say you have $1 million, they tell you you're average or poor.
You are. You can't even buy a house for $1 million.
Yeah. So I'm
like
I'm just telling coffee will be $15, $20.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, the same principles that made you $1 million and made you rich 10 years ago still apply to making you $10 million today. So if you get out there and you work hard, whether that's in trading or whatever, like there's still opportunities out there. So try and look at the positive side of things. If you're watching this right now, you're taking a great step in the right direction. I think all of us on here think that this is the best asset class in the world right now, and will continue to be probably for the next, couple decades. So get some Bitcoin and hold on for dear life. Tell them to reactivate the free Bitcoin faucet, and I'll take half a Bitcoin instead of 5 Bitcoin. Well, we got a few other stories, nothing too crazy. This is definitely some stuff we can maybe take a look at on Friday here. There was one story about Ethereum I wanted to take a quick look at. Yeah, here we go. Good old Vitalik there. They released their new roadmap, and I believe Vitalik gave us talk on it. I don't remember where. But anyways, no exact timeline on when, but they are going to be converting Ethereum into an end-to-end privacy chain. That is apparently the move. I love it personally. I'm running the risk of starting to like Ethereum again, which is dangerous. But this was going to piss off all the powers that be. They're not going to like SEC is not going to like that. Governments in general are not going to like it being end-to-end privacy coin. We've seen what they've done with the likes of Monero, Tornado Cash, et cetera, including our own bank accounts. But outside of just the pure privacy and, human, should be a human right to be able to have your finances private, your wealth matters private, but also security concerns come up, especially, and I think that's really their push. They're not doing this out of the benevolence of trying to protect, you or my identity. They're doing it because of the security risks of the public nature of the blockchain. When they have trillions of dollars in financial transactions flowing on Ethereum with all these stable coins and DATs, et cetera, in the near future, that end-to-end privacy is going to help add a layer of security to that I think is going to be deemed necessary. So maybe we'll see some changes in the SEC when they understand why they're doing this. It's not just so that, I can have $600 of untaxed crypto in my bank account. It's to protect the financial infrastructure of the major banks and the stock market, et cetera. So, no, I thought this was a very massive update that got released here. I don't know what you guys have any thoughts or opinions on Ethereum going privacy or Mr. Vitalik in general. Not all at once.
You're just laughing at Andrew.
Yeah, my fucking group is tearing me apart right now. God damn it. No, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, privacy, I'm all for privacy. All the apps that I use are all privacy based as well. So, the more private things can become, the better, in my opinion. But I definitely think it's going to put them on a spotlight with governments and stuff because.
But the government, like I posted it on our chat, but like UK government is putting
limits on people's withdrawals and stuff.
Yeah, they're putting a restriction. You can only own 20K worth of stable coins, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I love this kind of stuff because people look at it as like, oh, they're going to kill the. No, all they're going to do is they are putting the nail in their own coffin. Like they're just going to be pushing people into DeFi. If you go start like restricting everybody's bank accounts and monitoring every transaction they make and just climbing up everybody's ass, well, guess what? There's already an alternative out there that everybody can access called DeFi. And the on and off ramps are getting easier and easier. The UX UI is going to get better and better. We have AI tools that are going to be able to do all this stuff for you. So, I mean, the harder stance the powers that be want to make on this, like they're just going to accelerate the adoption of Web3 and decentralization. We're going to stick it to the man, Jan.
We're going to stick it to the man. I agree.
For some reason, Mormons is trending. I don't know, but there you go.
I know why.
What's happening? We have New York Fashion Week and Mormons. So there you go. There you have it, guys. Yeah, we're coming up right on an hour here. So it's probably enough internet for one day, boys.
Yes, I need to take a piss.
Oh,
very good.
I'm in the middle of building my very first Chat GPT. What do they call it? They don't call it a bot. They call it something else. But an agent. Yeah, I'm building an agent tool for Acquire.Fi to help streamline some of our processes right now. And actually, pretty interesting stuff. A lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to make something for trading as well. Funny enough.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you're not, that's another good lesson. If you're not using AI for literally whatever it is that you do, like if you're not using AI, like you're going to be behind in 6 months.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to use AI. It's not very hard.
Tell it what you want. Yeah, tell it what you want to do, and then ask it to tell you how to do that, and then it'll hold your hand and walk you through it.
How do I make money? Teach me. Boom.
Build me a Bitcoin faucet that will give me 5 free Bitcoin and fund it from Jan's wallet.
I wish.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate all the support, all the messages and Telegram, the comments on YouTube and X. Be back here on Friday. Friday will be a big day, breaking down the aftermath of the FOMC, seeing how the markets are reacting, seeing what news stories are breaking, and seeing what comes next. Until then, thanks for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
See y'all.